Hello friends, welcome to Selenium with C has training session 8. In this session, you will learn the complete study of XPath or the XML path. So in my previous video you already seen, right, what are the different element locator techniques available like ID, name, class name, right, partial link text, XPath, CSS and tag name. But in case say you are not able to identify the element with the link text, name or ID, or maybe those value is present but with those values sometimes it might be trouble to identify the element uniquely, right? Then you should either create your own customized XPath or series selector. So in this video you can definitely learn how to create your own customized XML path or XPath. So what is XPath? XPath is defined as XML path. XML is nothing but the extensive markup language. It is syntax or language for finding any element on the web page using XML path expression. XPath is used to find the location of any element on a web page using HTML DOM structure. DOM is nothing but the document object model. So XPath is a technique in Selenium that allows you to navigate the structure of a web page HTML. XPath is the syntax for finding element on the web page. Using XPath in Selenium, it helps you it helps user to find the element that are not found by locator or element locator techniques such as ID, class or name. XPath in Selenium can be used on both HTML and XML document. So sometimes a ID, class or name be present, but with those things, right? Suppose say for the name there is a two component, one is static, one is the dynamic component. So dynamic component can change every time and it might be difficult for you to identify with the ID because it's content dynamic and static component. So with the static component you can create your own customized XPath and you can identify the element successfully. Otherwise it might be problem. So this is the true thing where there is no element locator there through which you can identify the element uniquely. Another one is the element ID, class name is present but that is not fixed component completely. Every time there may be some component which can change, and with that approach, right, you will not able to identify the element uniquely. So then you can create your own customized XPath or XML path. So whenever we are talking about the XPath, right, there are three type of XPath is available. One is the relative XPath, one is the absolute XPath, one is the partial XPath. Relative XPath is more likely starting simply by referencing the element user want to navigate from the particular location, right? It begins from the current location and is prefixed by a double slash. So double slash, and here you can give the tag name and here you can give @ tag value and equal to then tag name and then here element locator value or some other value and then that particular name equal to within the single quote it will be value. Whereas absolute XPath contains the complete path from the root element to the desired element. It begins from a root path and it's prefixed by single slash. So that is the basic difference. Whereas partial XPath is nothing, you can absolute some of the path from your absolute XPath, right? You can still able to identify the element with the partial path. So that is called partial path. But in the real time, absolute XPath might be difficult for you, right, to identify the element every time because suppose you are starting from the root node. But say there is a provision, there can be some sort of change happen, right, in any of the elements. So your element identification will be failed. So that is the reason every time you should go with the relative XPath where you will identify element which will never change. So with that reference you can proceed to the XPath creation. But if you go for the absolute path, it will starting from the root node, right, and from the root to the child node, there will be lot of navigation will be there, and one particular object can change, right, or get vanished, or another object can introduce, right. So then your absolute XPath will not work anymore. So that is the reason it is better to go with the relative XPath every time. Why partial XPath also plays important, but in case suppose say you are creating an absolute XPath and maybe with removing some of the part from that here, right, we can still able to identify it. But out of 3 XPath, we should always use the relative XPath where correctness will be more and definitely will not having more trouble with the XPath. Okay. So these are the different simple common expression associated with the XPath. Basic XPath. XPath expression selects nodes or list of nodes on the basis of attribute like ID, name, class name, etc. In case it is present with this thing, we can create the XPath uniquely. Contents, right? Sometime I already mentioned, right? There is a component called static and dynamic. So if I want to use create the XPath with the static component, so we need to use the contents part where we'll be focusing on the static component. So with the contents keyword method, right? With the method we can create the XPath using or and. Sometimes suppose with one unique identification we are not able to identify the element uniquely because with that particular thing 2 or 3 multiple element present. But in case we are using multiple condition, then we can maybe able to identify the object uniquely, right, or the element uniquely. That is the reason sometimes we should use the and. Or why it is required? Suppose say in object is having multiple properties, right, but one property might get changed. Okay, so that if you use that, so there you next time you will not able to identify the element properly because the object property is getting changed. So that is the reason we can use or where we can identify the element with multiple properties, right? So that one property is got changed but the other properties will still remain constant, right? So with that one we can still identify the object. So that is the reason you or and also place we need to create it, right? We need to create the XPath using or and operation. Text. So this mechanism is used to locate the element based on the text available on the web page. We already see that partial link text or link text we are able to identify the element. Similarly, in case there is a link, right? Sometimes with the help of text we can create an XPath. I will show you, not to worry. Start with. Sometimes in case the some of the component, one component is volatile, right, or the dynamic. So by the first portion is the fixed, so that with the start with we can go for the static component, we can create the XPath. Okay, so this is the symbol through which we can use the XPath. Okay, you can see one is the basic double slash, then the tag name, and here at the rate third bracket, then at the rate ampersand sign, attribute name equal to value within the first quote, and then you need to close the third bracket. If you do not know that tag name, we can use simply double slash, then star, asterisk mas, third bracket at the rate attribute name equal to value within the first bracket, and you need to close the third bracket. So that is the way we can create our own XPath. Okay, and different generation type I already show, right? Contents keyword where you need to give the type and the sub, right? We can use or, we can use and operation, we can use create the XPath with the help of text, we can create the XPath with the help of start with, right? So these are the part I already covered here. So, okay, so now I will see what are the why XPath is important, right? In case there is no ID or class name or name is present, and sometimes these are present but still we need to create the XPath. Why, right? So you could see this is the page, right? You could see this is the page. If you open the page and if you press F12 button here, right? Okay, so you could see that you can create the XPath for any field, right? Okay, so let's click on that inspect element button or the Control Shift C and just try to place mouse over the full name field. You could see here the name is coming, right? So this type is input because it is input text field. Name is coming, type as text, name is name warning C87153. So name is present. So are we able to identify the element with the help of name? Let's see. So I will try to identify the element with the help of name. Okay, so let's go to the Visual Studio. So here I am creating an object for instance of the iWebDriver interface and the Chrome driver class. I am maximizing the driver or the browsers and it will open that web page, right? Then I'll be creating a web element. Web element, what is the name of the web element? So it's a full name, right? Full name. Full name, where I can identify the element with the help of driver dot find element name by dot name. Here I can give the name, right? This is the name I can give it. So that's why I can create the web element, and then it is a text box, so I can enter some values which is nothing but the send keys. Dot send keys. So suppose say I want to add the name called my name. Okay, so that is a simple operation I want to perform. Okay, now let's try to run the code and let's see why the code is working fine or some error message is throwing, because here name element locator technique is available and some value is still there. So with this name, are we able to identify the element and are we able to enter the value horizon here in that particular full name field? So let's try to run the code and let's see. So we will try to launch the Chrome browser. It will maximize the browser. It will pass the URL for the ready page. It will try to identify the element. In case it is able to identify the element, it will enter. But here, in case it is not able to identify the element, you can see here error message exception unhandled, right? What is the error message? Exception unhandled. No such element, unable to locate element, right? The name. And here also you can get, I mean, if you go to the debug output, right, you could see the error message. Exception unhandled. An unhandled exception type occur in the WebDriver, unable to locate element. So what is the problem, right? Because whatever name you are giving, that name it is not unable to get it, right? So let's see now, this is the page already open. If you want to inspect the element for this page, you could see what is the name value. You could see the name value got changed here. Name D77B87. This is the session name. But whenever we have identified the element, it was name warning 8187153. So you could see here for the name part is fixed, but the other relevant part is not fixed, which is dynamic in nature. That is the reason every session, whenever it is opening any new session, new web page, right, every time names dynamic value is getting changed. As it is getting changed, so with this name value it is not able to identify, and if you do not know what will be the name other value, remaining part, dynamic value. So NAME, that part is constant, but after the remaining part is still not constant. Every time it is getting changed. So with the complete name you will never able to identify the element, though name web locator element locator technique is available and value is present. So that is the problem. So that is the reason your script is failing. So to overcome this thing, you have to create your own XPath or CS selector so that you can uniquely identify the value with the help of static part, not the dynamic part. So dynamic part can change, so you no need to worry, right? So that is the reason you will be creating the XPath. So here with the XPath, so if I want to go to the static part, right? So that you can see start with, or you can use contents part, right? So that you will be creating an XPath. Because we will be taking the dynamic part, sorry, static path, right? So how to create the XPath? / tag name. So here you can close one window and you can go to the other window, right? Here you can press Ctrl F. So what is the tag name for the field? Tag name is the input, right? So you can give / input. Okay. And then here you can see the name is starting with name, right? And forget about the other part, D77 part. So name is starting. So / tag name and third bracket attribute name equal to value, right? But here attribute, if I give the complete value, so it will again create problem, because that part is not fixed. Some part, name part is fixed, but the remaining part is dynamic in nature. So I need to use the other way. Either I need to use the contents keyword or I need to use starts with, right? So / tag name, then give the third bracket, starts with STARTS with, okay, just use the simple thing, okay, whatever written in the PPT. Start with, then give first bracket, then attribute comma equal to value, right? Then give first bracket, then what is the attribute? Name. We need to give the comma and here I need to give the value which is starting with, right, in the first quote, and we need to close with third bracket and the first bracket as well. You could see now 1 out of 1 element is being displayed, right? So with the particular name, which is the fixed component, we are not taking the dynamic component, which is the D77B8738. So with the static component only, we are able to create the XPath. Now create the XPath and let's see whether it's working or not. So here instead of that name, we will be changing in XPath. And I will be changing the value here. Now let's run the code and let's see whether it is working or not. So it started running. Or maybe start the EDA, sorry, it's not started. So let's start the code again. Try to run it. So with the updated value, instead of the name, whole component static plus dynamic, I have taken the static component which is the name and I have created the XPath which starts with. So XPath is nothing, / tag name third bracket @ attribute name equal to value. But here we can use some of the other keyword also, right? You can see now Haradhan is getting entered, right? So my XPath is working fine. So that's why you can create your XPath. So this is the one way, right? I already used that one. / tag name start with attribute name equal to value. If you do not know the tag name, right? So here if you go to that page, I have closed it, right? So I can open it again. So this is the page we are automating. So we can press F12 button again to identify any other element where we can create our own customized XPath. Press F12 button. Okay. So for that one, right, we are creating with the full name, right? So press Ctrl F and press that one. So its XPath is getting created. So now instead of input button, if you do not know the tag name, you can use star. Okay, and you can see here still creating XPath, right? 1 of 1. And if you want to still check whatever XPath you are creating is completely working fine or not, you can go to the console, right? And here you can type $x and that XPath value is in the first bracket and double quote. Give $x, give first bracket, give double quote, give the XPath, end double quote, end first bracket. You can see here. It is place enter, you can see input is coming. If you expand input, you can see the length is 1, right? So with that input name, you can able to identify one element uniquely. So your XPath is correct. So that is the other way you can verify that whatever XPath you are getting, it is working fine or not. So in case you do not know the tag name, okay, if you do not want to create it, so / then star. If you know the tag name, it's better to use the tag name here. You can use the tag name input. Okay. You could see one out of one element is getting fine. Now just try to identify the other element, right? Suppose say mobile number. Just mouse over to the mobile number. So here you can see that text is coming, type is text, ID is mobile number, and name is mobile number, right? So again here MOB number is the static part for the name and other is the dynamic part. So I can create it with the help of move number, which is the name. MOBNO, move number. You can see here 1 out of 1 element is getting created. So / input start with @ name variable, right? and then this is the first part I am typing it here. And if you want to use contents also, right, we can use double slash then star or that tag name, then contents, and here type, which is the name, and the sub type, right, sub value. So here instead of start with I can use contents. You can see 1 out of 1 element is getting identified, right? So name containing that mobile number, which is the static part. So definitely in case the multiples part is there, but you should focus on the static part, right? So contents can be anywhere, but start with should be the starting part. So that is the basic difference. So in the, suppose say here there is a two component, right? Say this is the xx, then name, suppose say, and then yy, where name is the static part, right? Xx can change, yy can change. So you can use contents, where you can take that name part, right, because that is never change, but xx and yy can change. But in case you know that starting with name and then yy xx, so that part can change, so you can use either starts with also, because this is starting with the name. So that's why, so this is the fixed part and this is the dynamic part which can change. So we should not consider the dynamic part, we should consider only the static part, right? So you already seen how to create with the help of contents, or how to create with the help of start with, right? Now try to create with and or, right? So or is something like that, where in case one property is might get changed, another property might remain constant, right? So that we can use both the keyword, so that with one particular type, right, we can identify the X path. So here, so give input, because starting with input, right, give third bracket, and here I can identify either with mobile name with that one, right? So here you can give the and, okay, or, so third bracket at the rate type equal to value, so I can use at the rate name equal to name value, right? And I can give or operation, and then again id equal to that value, which is the id. So again or and at the rate id equal to the value, and you can close with third bracket. You can see 1 out of our 1 element is identified. Suppose say in case the mobile number, the static part is getting changed, still with the help of id we are able to identify the element uniquely. So that's why we can use the or operation. In case we know that one part might change but other part will be fixed, we can use the or operation, right? You can see here or. So let's try to identify the element with the help of this or operation, right, which is the mobile number, right? So we'll be creating another web element. Mobile number field equal to driver dot find element by XPath. Okay, I can close the second bracket, close the semicolon, then this is the text field, so I can send some keys, some mobile number, because this will be numeric here, right? So I can enter some numeric value here. Now let's try to run the code and let's see this mobile number is getting entered or not, along with the full name. So it will open the page, ready page, it will identify the full name entered and mobile number also getting entered. You could see mobile number entered also happening, okay, and full name is also getting entered. So now question is that why AND operation is required here. Suppose say here you could see it is starting with input type equal to text. So let's try to identify the element with the help of type, right, equal to text. Okay, you could see now 8 element is visible, right? So you do not know which one is there, mobile number, right? So that is the reason with that unique type equal to text, you will never identify the element uniquely. So here you can use AND operator, right? Apart from mobile number type equal to text, I can give some other identifier as well, right? Where equal to ID can be mobile number, right? So with those two element identification technique, I can identify the element uniquely with the help of AND operation. And at the rate ID equal to, now you can see, right, with this one I can uniquely identify the element, right? And if you want to validate whether it's uniquely identified is not, go to the console again, same way, press dollar to validate the XPath, press X, then give first bracket, then double quote, give the XPath number, end double quote, end first bracket, press enter. You could see the input is the mobile number field. If you expand it, it is giving length 1. If you select it, mobile number field is getting visible, highlighted here, right? Highlighted, right? Input mobile number 125 cross 21.99. So that's why you will be able to identify the element uniquely. So here I already covered these are the different part, right? The contents, the OR operation, the and definitely you get to know, right, how to create the XPath double slash tag name attribute name equal to value. So even mobile number, with the help of mobile number you can uniquely identify the elements. So even you can remove the text because this is uniquely identifiable, right? You can see slash tag name at the rate attribute name equal to value. So that is the simple syntax for the XPath creation. If you remove the text, you can press star, simply star. So means all tag, it will take all the tag, okay? But still with the help of ID mobile number, it's uniquely able to identify it. So XPath we need to create where there is no ID, right? Other thing is not available, right? And definitely, but these fields are available, but there is a dynamic value and static value which can be changed, dynamic value can be changed. So you should either go with the XPath creation or CSS collector, right? And then I will show you how to create the XPath with the help of text. Okay, so definitely there should be some links where you can create the XPath with the text. So just go to the links, right? Suppose term and condition link, right? So here it is starting with a anchor tag and this is the text, right? So I can create the XPath here. I will be giving double slash and then anchor tag and here third bracket, then no need to give the @ sign here for the text. You need to give text equal to the value, text value. So text equal to the value of the text. So that's why I can create the XPath for the text. Sorry, link or the hyperlink, right? You can see that's why I can uniquely identify it, right? If I used to also check contents, right? The terms and condition, I can also create the XPath. So here double slash, then I can use the contents, right? Here I can give the contents and then value text equal to subtype, I can keep it. So that's why I can create the XPath with the help of text, right? So let's create the XPath for the text, which is nothing but the term and condition. Okay, I can create an web element here, web element term and condition, T and C, right? Term and condition, T and C. And here I need to change the XPath value here, right? This is the XPath. I can change it here. And then this is a link, right? I can simply click on that link, right? The element dot click operation. So I have created so many XPath with the different approach, and I am able to identify the element and I am able to perform the operation. So let's start running the code. So it will launch the Chrome browsers. It will maximize the browser. It will launch the page for the Rediff login page. It will identify the element one by one. One is the full name, one is the mobile number, one is the link, right? Enter the value and the link, it will be clicking on the link. So all my operation is successful with the help of customized XPath, whatever we are creating, right? So my code is working perfectly fine. Okay. So I have tried to elaborate the different concept of the XPath, how you can create the XPath with the help of contents, with the help of OR, with the help of AND, with the help of text, with the help of start with, right? So these all are relative XPath, which is starting with double slash. But if you want to create the XPath with the help of absolute path, you can still able to do it. Suppose say I'll be creating XPath for this mobile number field, right? So you can inspect the element again, the mobile number field, and where it will be, right? Absolute XPath. So definitely it will start from the parent node, right? HTML. So how can you create it? So you need to go to the top, right? Top node. So it is starting with the HTML. You can see here, this is starting with HTML, right? So here instead of double slash, you can give single slash HTML, right? So this is starting with HTML, right? So you need to give all the details one by one. So it is starting with HTML, then you need to give here, so it is starting with HTML, then head, right? Then HTML, then head will not work because it's the same way. You need to give the body, right? Within the body it will be there. So again body, right? If you again give slash, then under the body it will be center, form, div, like that, right? So it will be center slash form slash div. So still that part I have came here, and then I can give the table tbody tier slash tbody slash tier slash td. Okay, then this part I already came here. Then I'll be coming here, right? So this is my table I have came, right? So till that part I have came tbdd. Then I'll be again going to the div here, right? Div, then input slash div slash input. Okay, then I can go the input details. Here I already came to the input, and here I will be giving the third bracket, and then I already given the input. Here I can give id equal to mob number, id equal to mobno, and I can end with. Okay, input, and this is the input part, deep and input. Okay, let's cut it. Yeah, div is fine, till that div is fine. Okay, let's inspect it once more time. We can go vice versa. So td part, tier, td, after that div, after that input. So that part, till that part I have came here, right? So one second, let's select all the element one by one. Okay, yeah, that portion I have came here. So this is the portion, right? Okay, country ID. Okay, then it will be another div here, right? So this is the div part I have came, and again within that div here, one second. So this is the div. Okay, this is the div part I came here. Okay, then it will be another div. No, or we can go vice versa way, right? Maybe suppose say instead of the div part I can identify the another one. So tr, td, then I can give directly input here, input, you could see there are 14 element is there, right, for the input part, right? So I can go with that input here name. So I can place with the name input here. So here @name equal to the value, right? That value I can give it, and I can usually identify the element. So that is the way I can go and create the element, right? So this will be absolute XPath. But the problem is that suppose say here there is an HTML, then body, then center, then the form, then div, then table, then T body, then table, tier, row, table details, then input, right? In case suppose that div is getting changed and another more div is coming, right? Then your XPath will be in problem. So that is the reason instead of that absolute XPath we should use the relative XPath always. And what is partial XPath? Suppose say if you remove some of the unimportant parts, still your XPath identification can be successful, right? So that is called partial XPath, right? So suppose say after the form, if you remove the div, right, that form div, if you remove it, right, you can see sometimes still element identification can be successful. Okay, you could see the form. Okay, that div, right? So that div, if you remove it, still the element is able to identify it, right? Sometimes if you remove that td, you can see element identification still successful. So that is called the partial XPath. So with the partial part you are still able to identify the XPath, but do not go with the absolute and partial. So absolute partial which start with the slash and the HTML. If you remove the HTML, right, you could see able to identify the element still successful. That is called partial. Okay, so relative is nothing where we will starting with the fixed point. We know that this is the fixed point will not change, and with the double slash will be creating the XPath. With the absolute will be starting from the parent node and we are going to the child node, it will getting the XPath. And partial is nothing in case if we keep some of the part from that complete path, which we are still able to identify the XPath, so that will be called partial XPath. Okay, so that is the different criteria through which we can create our own customized XPath. We can use the XPath with the help of double slash tag name, third bracket @attribute name equal to within first single quote value, and we need to end with third bracket. If you do not know the tag name, you can use asterisk mark instead of tag name. After creating the XPath, you can go to the console, you can type $x first bracket, within the double quote you can give the XPath, and you can end first bracket, you can press enter, where you can find right the relevant part, and you can identify the XPath uniquely, and you can get to know whether your XPath creation is successful or not, is fine or not, right? And if you if for a particular field, right, there is a fixed part and dynamic part. If you want to create the XPath with the help of fixed part only, you can use contents or start with. In case one element is not able to identify uniquely, you can use AND, where you can use multiples attribute and the corresponding value. In case you know that there are multiple attributes there, but one attribute can change, value can change, you can use the OR operation, where one value is getting changed by the other value, you can uniquely identify the XPath. And definitely for the link or hyperlink, sometime with the help of text, you can create the XPath, where you can use the contents and start with as well for the text as well. So this is the different way, right? We can create your own customized XPath. But here in the XPath, there are a lot of things there, right? How you can create the XPath with the help of forward axis or the reverse axis. So I'll be creating separate videos for that. No need to worry. But with this video, you can definitely try to create your own XPath with the different approach already outlined. Okay, that's all from today's session. Thank you.